So new grants that we want to do, because Travel Nevada grants have opened up, and we have not, the reason we repurposed so many articles from in the visitor's guide is because we just didn't have an author like Matt Weiser the first year that we were here that could do these long form stories. And so we had 10 before. What I'm going to want to do is I want to write a storytelling grant for new written content for at least 5 stories. And so that will be stuff that will go on the website in our articles section, stuff that will be socially promoted, and stuff that can go in our next visitor's guide. We've got a number of things that need to be reprinted, so I'm going to put in for a mountain bike brochure, an OHV brochure, and a cheat sheet reprinting. I'm going to put in for hiring a professional photographer to come to the horse races, as well as race the rails. We had a professional videographer come out to the horse races and race the rails. We've got great promo videos. We have 0 photography from the last 3 years. And Errol and I had talked about how we run ourselves ragged trying to beat our professional photographer and come up with not the same result. And then in our strategic plan, we talked in depth about how the arts is the next thing that we're wanting to promote, especially now that outdoor recreation is kind of getting its feet firmly planted on the next ledge. So what I would like to do is I'd like to bring a professional videographer out and do an arts-centric video. So this could be the concert on the 25th, the Beatles concert on September 11th, it's the art bank, it's the Wally Cushing, it's the murals, it's Baker's kooky art, it's everything and anything arts, culture related, the powwow, all of that. So that's what I'm proposing in that one. As the new vice chair of the Pony Express territory, I've got a couple grant ideas for Pony Express. Essentially my idea for that one is we've got to steer away from this is a really lonely road with a lot of space in between that you should really drive as quick as you can through to get from one point to the other, and start promoting things like day trips and itineraries from the population centers to go in and experience the Pony Express territory. A grant showcasing the history of the Lincoln Highway or stories of the Lincoln Highway, social media campaign, as well as suggesting postcard mailer, because our postcard mailers did extremely well. Instead of putting billboards on the way to Sacramento, on the way to Moab, what if we took those billboards down and started sending some direct mail to those populations, showcasing the mountain biking and all the itineraries that we just created. From a facilities and convention standpoint, we had our first full court case last week. I know we've got another one blocked off coming up. We're going to see if that one goes through. But we do have the Nevada Sheriffs and Chiefs in July, the Christian Motorcycle Association here in July. And while June, July, and August is our slow season, we've talked about finishing the facility upgrades. And so it would be my recommendation during that time that we finish the back room technology upgrades, and we go ahead and tackle the bathrooms, ADA, as well as the diaper changing racks. And then we'll be ready come September when all the conventions come back in. Visitor Center report. I had this printed out as well because Abby sent this to me, and I'm working with her on developing a report for what goes on in the visitor center during those times that she's here. So this report is going to keep developing more and more. But what I asked her right now is what are the top 5 frequent inquiries that you get at the visitor center, and what are your most frequent comments that visitors say to you about their experience in White Pine County? So I'm just going to read these. Most questions asked is, where should I camp based on my style and equipment? So that would be anything from RV full hookups all the way to car camping, tent camping. Essentially, where do I camp? Where do I go? The second one is, where should I eat? And so the cheat sheet comes in really handy with that one. The third most inquiry is, where is the Nevada Northern Railway and how can I ride the train while I'm here? Very simple answer on that one, which is great, but they're inquiring. Fourth one is, where's the best hiking, mountain biking, and ATV trails? And I look forward to getting those trail maps up in those kiosks, because that is going to answer that question big. And then the other one is, can you tell me about all these wonderful murals? So I think these are really positive questions, very easy to answer, and so Abby's been having a great time answering those. Top frequent comments from visitors is, small towns in my state seem a little depressed. Ely is so alive and vibrant. What a nice comment. They call it the loneliest road, but there's so much to do and it's really beautiful. Number 3 is people here are so welcoming and friendly. Thank you, we will be back. 4th is I had trouble making a reservation or getting information. Can you help? And that would be, I would assume, hotel related stuff and maybe train tickets. And the 5th one is I wish more places were open. And I think that's just something that we've identified in the past, so we'll keep working on that. In answers to those questions, our next marketing campaign that we're doing for the summer, and I know I really enjoy campaigns where they're planned and they're scheduled and they're enacting. So with all of these questions about where should I camp, how do I do the NNRY, what are the best trails, Errol and I have been talking about a How to White Pine County campaign. And so what this would be is essentially addressing all of these questions that we get and doing them in short little, 30-second to minute-and-a-half videos, making blog posts about them that go up onto the website, and essentially address all of these questions and say, oh, you're here to ride mountain bikes? Here's how you do G-Loop right. Here's how you ride Ice Plant. Here's how you, Cave Lake. And same thing with OHVs and all of that stuff. So just trying to put it out there more for all these people that are coming in on to enjoy themselves better. And then my last thing is just that the Baker mural and the McGill mural are moving forward. The Baker mural, the bills have been paid, they're waiting for the mural to be done. The McGill mural, we've got our invoice for that one, and then Jamie's gonna be starting that as soon as she's done with the one that she's doing for White Pine Main Street. So with that, I'll let Errol go ahead and finish with the marketing report. And Errol, if you'll come on up, I'll turn the microphone around.
Do I stand? It's been a while since I've been in person. Zoom.
Welcome back to in person.
Yeah, thanks. So before I jump into social media, I just wanted to reiterate that the numbers are from Thursday of last week, so I'll also be giving updated numbers. So jumping right into Facebook, there are now 5,912 followers. As of right before this meeting, that number is now 5,919, which is an increase of 28. So April, we did our mountain biking blitz, full of marketing blitz for mountain biking. And then May, we really were ramping up and doing a lot of marketing just for summer in general. And so that was a lot of boosting. And we didn't boost quite as much as this month as in previous months because we had proper regular blitzes going on there. But I wanted to dive further into our follower count, and what I ended up finding and why we received as many followers as we did this month, I found that we also had a decrease in followers, which is super rare because especially of all the growth we've been having for the past couple months. And what I actually found was this month Facebook actually did a purge of fraudulent accounts, fake accounts that aren't even real people. And that ended up being our number of unfollows. And that number is even below 10 people who aren't even actually people. Moving on to the chart that I put there, I just wanted to let everyone know a chart that I see all the time, and this really helps and really influences me when I post, just in case anyone was curious why I post when I post. So the chart is actually a rough daily average of when people are logging on and seeing our content. So I try to post, if you can see, it's kind of small, the peaks where people are logging in and seeing on Facebook and our content most of the time, I try to post in those peaks. And I find that, just from personal experience, that 15-minute intervals, so 15 minutes before the hour or 30 minutes before the hour is when content gets the most coverage and people are most engaging with it. So just in case anyone was curious why I post when I post, so if you can see that people really ramp up in the afternoon, so after dinner, before bed. So before I leave, I make sure to do a post at 4:30 or 5 o'clock directly. And then I make sure that they're definitely seeing it by the end of the day.
Can't you schedule them?
I used to be able to. Facebook recently did an update where they won't let me schedule. I do schedule and then they fail to post, and that's been the last like 2 weeks. So I usually do schedule, hopefully Facebook figures it out. Because yeah, scheduling was a big help,
Yep.
so I'm hoping that comes back. Moving on to Instagram. Instagram is now at 2,507 followers. Twitter actually now has 371 followers, which has been consistent. Moving on to our targeted digital, which is through our PR firm, East River,
Reach local.
or Reach Local, sorry.
Yes.
Did I say that backwards?
Yep.
Of course I did. So this is our first full month of downsizing from 5 campaigns to 3 campaigns. So we have our search retargeting, which, just to reiterate, is when you go to a site and you get a display ad of ours that you visit when you visit the site. So if you look up a certain ad word or keyword that relates to us, then you get a display ad on that website that you just visited. So that received 117,000 impressions, 158 clicks, and a click-through rate of 0.14%, which is an increase from 0.11%, which is well above average click-through rate. Search engine marketing received 13,200 impressions, 550 clicks, and 10 leads. Our targeted YouTube ad received 31,000 impressions and 12,200 views. Moving on to the website, our top 5 pages this month were the homepage, lodging, Beers, Tews, and Beers event, and dining and things to do. On the device breakdown, the desktop was actually up a couple of percentage, so 40% of people actually visited through their computer rather than their tablet or phone. Our sessions were up by 9%, our page views were up 13%, and our average session duration, so the amount of time people were on the site was actually up 14%. As far as updates go, calendar, just what we got going on this month. White Pine All-Class Reunion and the 4th of July Parade, obviously. Ward Mountain Scramble from EOE is July 10th. White Pine Gincana Series is continuing on July 17th. The Lund Pioneer Days is June 23rd and July 23rd and 24th. Sorry, I can fix that. Rotary annual golf tournament is July 30th and 31st, and the Shoshone Tribe Fandango and Powwow is July 30th and August 1st. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, anyone? Okay.
Sounds good, Earl. Thank you.
very
Take it
much.
back in person, feels weird.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to old business. Discussion only. Do we have any board member reports? Kurt?
No report.
Marietta?
Yes, horse races is coming along very well. Volunteers are already assembled, and one of my main goals is to try to recover that $25,000 that the state is not going to give us, possibly through CARES Act funding. Our sponsors are very active and generous, and we'll have our next meeting after July 4th, after the holiday.
All right, thank you so much. Looking forward to it. Ian, do you have a board member report?
No reports other than I'd like to say it's nice to see you, Errol, in the same room. And now I'm out there to high five. Thankfully, let you out of the team now.
Thank you. Brian, do you have any type of update?
I have no updates, no.
Thank you very much, and neither do I. So discussion only agenda items for the next board meeting. I'll get with Kyle and we'll add those, and unless there's someone, a board member that has a specific one. Okay, let's go back to public comment. Taylor or Alan, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I think the only thing is we'll get together on it and we'll figure it out and get it moving forward, so it's all
Okay.
good.
All right,
It's too much to cover in 4 3-minute segments. We're
Reader's
appreciative of the first 6 minutes, and the last 6 minutes we're on vacation.
Taylor, anything update?
No.
All righty. George, do you have any public comment?
Yes, ma'am, I do. The last couple of weeks, I went to county commission meetings as well as city council. And we have the new Veterans Memorial Park sign at the park. Unfortunately, the safety handrail behind that protecting an individual from falling into the ditch. 2 feet has yet to be replaced. I told them they need to do that. You can have a lot of older people, you can have more crowds. It's a safety issue. You fall 2 feet, sprain an ankle, maybe a leg. If you're an older person, you break a hip and then you got major problems. That's not the way to treat a reunion. I did that at the city council also. I don't know if the building inspector is gonna do anything, but the concern of safety is paramount. I've been critical on different things, but a lot of that is because you folks have rules and regulations. When you give this money out, those entities come back with a report so you can assess it. You're not doing that. If you don't do that, let me give you the golf course as an example. I don't know what the play is. They took them off the county funding. We're funding it, meaning the hotel motel industry, yet we know nothing about the impact. Put it out. If they're doing that good, not a problem. But if they're not doing that good, they got special rates from the city on water and sewer rates. Water rates at least, they're paying maybe half of what everybody else is. And if you have the income coming back, fine. But you gotta prove it to me. They're closing off other individuals and businesses because of water, sewer differences. Baloney. The railroad, the same thing. They granted them connections, nobody else got that, and yet they come before you guys with their hand out. All I wanna know is how that money is being spent, and we don't know. You've had the rumors of embezzlement, we don't know. If there hasn't been any, either put up or shut up. I wanna know. That's tax money, it's not theirs. I don't know if it's been resolved. I want to remind you also with the railroad, when Mr. Bybee was chairman, track rental for 15 years wasn't collected. Why not? Here they are with their hand out. I want to know what they're going to do about that. I want that money collected. Ignorance cannot be tolerated. In the last few months, I've given you folks requests for public information in regards to parking lot and ADA access. I'm gonna give it to you again. Nothing on that. Brand new, you have to meet ADA. It's not if or may I. You must, and you're not doing it. I also asked about the money given to the community choir for pigeon control. That was a private entity. It was not a public building. That money needs to come back. Nevada Northern Railway, now if we go by the last report you gave, Kyle, 30 grand times 12, they get over 300,000 a year. They need to be under the open meeting law so we know how that money is being spent. Those other questions I asked in that same request for public information dated August 25th, 2020 needs to be addressed. Oh,
I think you're about out of time, George. I think we're at 4 minutes.
okay.
Thank you
The
very
golf
much.
course, and I'm gonna submit them again, but I want some answers. Other than that, I'm gonna keep coming back.
Thank you, George, very much. Any other public comment? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You guys.
Is this off?
No, it's not off yet.
How do
She
we-
has to turn it on.
Oh, yes.
Kathy's still here.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee's still here.
I don't know. We've
I
been
know
gone.
you
We've
from
been
Douglas
down.
County. How's Danny Garcia doing?
Oh, in both girls' teams,
Okay.
one?
He's a county
Too bad
commissioner
I'm
now.
yes, yes,
And now
yeah,
you're going
you
to
know,
Yerington?
Well, I
Yes.
worked
Little
at
more there in
IBM
summer.
with his brother-in-law
it
for
wasn't
many
very cool
years.
that one.
And he'd always come up here and, visit us,
It would be.
but,
When do you go?
we were very excited.
July
He was
18th,
like,
19th.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
8 July 18.
he's a firefly.
What's the population of your area there?
Oh, that's-
County's about
Yeah, it is.
55,000.
And who's coaching?
And,
So
Largest town
Jamie
in
is.
what?
Just sign that right
Well,
there.
you got
It's just, it's the
Minden
final
and
budget that
Gardner.
the board members' signatures
those
on
would be
it.
the
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting.